I am doing something a bit different, which is every week I will come on live and answer a question you have about memoir. So if you have a question that you would like me to answer, leave it below or DM me and I will try to do it in a future session. Okay, and then I'm supposed to keep these to under a minute apparently, because that's the length of our attention spans these days, but chances aren't very good that I'm going to be able to do that. So, okay, I'm going to start with a tame question, which is there a better tense to write your memoir in, past or present tense? Is one of them better? Okay, so the short answer is no. They both work, but the more interesting answer is they actually offer different qualities, and I would say almost textures. So it's kind of interesting to explore both possibilities and the third option, which is combination of multiple tenses, which I'll get to after. So let's just start with the present tense. So the present tense obviously is just very immediate. It gives the reader this sense that the story is unfolding before them, and particularly if we saturate it with sensory detail and so on, they can just feel as though they are living the story as it's emerging. And so that has a wonderful, a texture of well, I'll explain actually, rather than trying to come up with an adjective. For my first book, which was A Journey Through Iran, I actually wrote each section in both tenses. I would write a chapter in, say, the present tense, and then I'd immediately flip it into the past tense. And I was aware that each tense offered something slightly different. So the present tense did offer this immediacy, and I really liked that. But with the past tense, I had the possibility of a more reflective voice, but also inserting things that I didn't know at the time. So it was great to do it both ways. And as I wrote the book, I continued to do that. I would write it in one tense and then I'd flip it into the other. And sometimes doing that exercise gave me a little bit, from both that I would incorporate into whatever the final version was. And I don't remember deciding until quite late in the project which it was going to be. And I decided on the present tense because I wanted to give the reader this sense of exploring Iran with me. I wanted to give them the feeling of that sort of effervescent feeling of nervousness and excitement when I was standing on the border in Turkey, about to enter this country that I had only imagined before then, and so on. I mean, not that you can't do that in the past tense, but there is something, when you start to play around, you'll see, oh yeah, there's a different quality here. And then past tense, it has obviously this, it allows for perspective, it allows for information that we didn't have at the time being woven in more easily, and a perspective that we just don't have when we're living the experience as it's unfolding. And so actually my second book, which is about growing up with a gay father in the 1980s, I did employ the past tense for that. It didn't require that same sort of, gradual, immediate unfolding sense. It was actually more effective for me, and it was just also more instinctive to tell it in the past tense. I was reflecting on my childhood. Now, a lot of books use both. So they'll have a narrator's voice who is in the present tense, and then when they're flashing back or something will tip them into memory of a scene or an episode or something, and that will be in the past tense. And that is terrific because it gives the reader real clarity. They know when they are in one place or the other, if indeed you're using a present tense narrator or the person you are now, both living her life in the moment, living their life, his life in the moment, and flashing back periodically into memory. So you'll see that used as well. And that, as I say, that gives clarity and it allows for you to time travel. I mean, the great thing with readers is we can time travel really quickly. All we need is 10 years ago, and we're there. But it can be, if you are flipping back and forth a lot, it can be a bit cumbersome to always be setting it up and making sure the reader knows where they are. So using a present tense for that present voice and a past tense for memory can just be, a great tool. I have seen it done where the narrating voice is in the past tense and the memories are in the present. Not very often, but I have seen it. I can't remember the title of the book right now, but I'm picturing the cover. And it was very effective, but difficult to pull off. And I'm fairly sure that the writer wanted those memories to be full of that immediacy, rich in kind of sensory experience and that unfolding quality, or almost the sense of not knowing what's going to happen next. I mean, it did add a certain richness in that way. And then this past tense narrator reflecting on her life. So anything's possible is the answer. And it's worth exploring both or all three versions. The one thing I'll say is the only essential thing is consistency. Whatever you choose, be consistent with it, because there is nothing worse than verb tenses that swim all over the place and leave the reader wondering, where are we? And where are we in relation to where we were, and so on. You can just lose the plot very quickly. So consistency is everything. Okay, I hope that's helpful. So if you have a question, again, I promise to answer them. I don't promise to give you the definitive answer, but I'll offer what I can in the hopes that it's helpful. Just leave it below or send me a DM, and I will get to it the next time. Okay, take care. Bye.